I thought it was the biggest non-story I have seen come down the road in a long time.
If it involves quarterback one, it's always a story. You know, when you get sacked as much as Caleb Williams got sacked, of course your body language is not going to be standing up like you're in a suit at a party someplace. I mean, you're hurting. You're in trouble. He was trying to lay down on the bench at one point because he got hit so much. You remember this, right? Helmet off and just want to just lie down. You can understand why.
And they showed him that exact video. It said, dude, cannot happen. Can't happen. Don't care that you got pounded. Yeah. If you're going back in the game, that stuff can't happen. I've had multiple guys tell me.
There's adversity that's going to hit every team, every season. You don't know when it's going to happen. We might lose a few games. We might have some turnovers, and yet just the wherewithal of we're steering the ship. We're going the right direction. It's not woe is me. We are going to take everyone around us. We're going to elevate them, and we're going to look to forge ahead to what's next. And so it's not dwelling on the past. It's not whether it's last season, last play, last game. We learn from it, we grow, and we move on. And so our body language needs to reflect that as well. No, we early in the process, we sat down and we watched some tape from a year ago, and we talked it through. It's like, do we really want to? Is this what we want to look like or not? And we come to an agreement. No, it's not. And okay, we learn from it, and we move on to the next thing. So, it's body language is a huge thing. Demeanor. We don't want to be a palms up team where we're questioning every. No. That's to me, that's a little bit of a sign of weakness, and we don't want to exhibit that from anybody on the team.
That's right.
Love it.
Yes.
Absolutely love it. From what I wasn't at practice yesterday, but what somebody who was at practice told me last night. Dude, they may have allowed F-bombs in Hard Knocks. There's enough of them to go around now at practice. They said Ben is colorful, intense. If he doesn't like the way you're lined up on a play, you're going to get embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it is.
That's just
and
coaching.
If you can't handle it, get out.
Yes.
So, super cool.
Can George McCaskey handle it? I don't think he's going to be around a lot of practices.
George, go get your steps in.
Yeah.
We've got some men here doing some work, and then might get colorful.
He's just going to be there getting his steps in with his fingers in his ears because he's not going to want to hear what's going on there.
No.
Don't want to hear it.
They're a little,
yeah.
They're cursing in there.
Yeah. Put your earmuffs on, George. You don't want to hear what's going on. I know it's July. You're going to look ridiculous with earmuffs on, but that's what's going to be because that's football.
Did you see the video of Eric Bieniemy? So they're doing a drill with the pads on the ground, and the running backs had to cut and jump and move. And here comes Kyle Monungai. Is it Monungai?
Yeah.
The seventh-round draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
And as he goes, "You're moving like an old-ass man."
Well,
like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, that's coaching. You want to get it right.
Yeah.
You just got the job, Cap. You just don't go in soft. You don't go in like Shane Waldron on a new job. Just put it that way. Yeah. Anti-Waldron. There should be a Waldron sign and a red line through it. Yeah. Big sign there. We don't play like that. Right. You don't have to worry about us coaching you hard. You as a coaching staff, Cap, you take in all the intel. I'm sure PR is like, want to see some of the clips from last year?
Oh, 100%.
Right on your desk, pal. What? Waldron need to coach them harder? Was that a thing last year? Oh, wow. Accountability must have been a rule. Okay. Guys, gentlemen, close that door. This team looks like it needs accountability. Seems like they need a foot in their ass. We will provide that as a team. Do you understand?
Well, do you remember
seriously
the first thing he said at the press conference to the players? They were like, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, I'm trying to remember who the four were. Caleb. Mm-hmm. There was one more, maybe Jalen Johnson. They're sitting up front. He goes, to the players here, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And then you asked Poles a question. I'll never forget it. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago he was on, 3 weeks ago. And he said, Jonathan, I don't believe accountability, that will not be a problem with this coaching staff. Okay.
The only thing I question is, when you do have adversity, how will Johnson handle it? It's one thing to do it now, in May, into June.
Well, what if you've lost 3 in a row?
What are you going to do? Because you hardly did that in Detroit.
Correct.
And by the way, if you did do that in Detroit, you weren't the head coach. You're the offensive coordinator.
Correct.
All I'm saying, Cap, is that I'm not saying it's a negative. I'm not saying it's going to be a problem. What I'm saying is I look forward to seeing what that looks like.
Yeah.
Do you still have your head up, confident, and talking to the media and talking to your players and trying to inspire them? Or do you tuck tail when you start losing 3 in a row? Because he's never done that as a head coach because he's never been a head coach before.
Correct.
The only person in the building that can speak to that is you. You're the only one in the building that can speak to what's that like another 18 inches over to the next seat. As you were an assistant, but there was times you had to be the head coach.
Right.
So what does that look like?
We're gonna find out.
Kap was always cool, man. He ran us hard, but boy, he was great to us, man. He talked to us. He learned more about us.
Because I wasn't the guy that was gonna kick your ass.
What's up, coach?
Right. They'd come by my office. They didn't want to go to the other office.
Yeah.
Tuck your shirt in.
That's
Why
a
are you
difference.
2 seconds late? Yeah, that wasn't me. That was his job.
Yeah. So there's a difference. 18 inches over. You don't have Dan Campbell screaming and yelling with all his coffee and all his bravado and his big muscles. Now it's you. How do you handle it?
Correct.
Not saying the Bears are going to go through this long stretch of losing. I don't see them losing 10 games. But even in our light predictions that we had a little bit of adversity in the season because the schedule's tough. It is. And I know the NFL is different from year to year. We only base it on last year's results, Cap, when we look at the schedule and we just, with a pencil, win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. But there's a tough spot right there around that Cincinnati game where you go, okay, how are you going to beat Cincinnati and the Ravens?
Yeah.
How are you going to get through that? Minnesota, what are you going to do with that? And, again, not saying that they'll lose, but just like every team, most teams go through adversity. So in your first year, what are you going to do about it? Sounds good now. Sounds good when Eberflus was head coach.
Yeah.
All that football nonsense and Nagy with his football nonsense and all that jargon.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do to resonate with the players? The other thing is that Ben Johnson was talking about emphasizing certain points of interest.
Well, our biggest point of emphasis as a coaching staff was really our finish, our pursuit on defense. We want to stop the ball, the momentum of the ball running through the defense in practice, even without pads on. And so it's a learning experience of what that looks like and what we're going to be about. And then offensively, we talk about the finishing aspect of getting connected down the field and blocking for our buddies. So finishing is a huge deal about what we're doing. We're very much rooted in the fundamentals and the techniques of what we're asking our guys to do. And so we saw growth last week in that way, and that's the expectation for us going forward.
You and I are going to be in the sidelines in Lake Forest, and you're going to say, Hoodie, they've moved the practice over to the right side. You want to walk around? And I'm going to say, no, Cap. I'm going to stay here with the offensive lineman. I'll be the only one. Everyone else is going to just follow along the path and go to the other side and watch the play. No, Cap, I got it. I'll be with the big guys. The big guy is going to be with the big guy. And I'm going to keep my eyes peeled on Trapillo and Amagaji because that's something to watch now. It's not the number one story, but it'll be interesting to see Trapillo in person, the giant, right?
6'8", 360. And I still think Braxton Jones will be the starting left tackle. I do.
Yes.
But these two dudes are at least getting opportunities while he recovers from his ankle injury.
Yes.
So we'll see.
While you watch the fly of the ball, I'll be watching the trenches. I'll be the only one. Everyone else is going to go around the other end, around the bend, to the right and to the left. No. I'll stay right here, keeping my eyes peeled on the big guys.
I'm not so sure about that.
What's that?
About you watching. They're going to say, hey, Hoodie, get out there.
Oh, no.
Show them how it's done.
Oh, I'm retired. They don't want me out there.
Who's the big guy over there?
How you doing?
Can he move? Can he play?
Oh, God. They don't want me on special teams. You can have, as I told you, Cap, I'm coming back in this life as a guard so I can hide on tape.
Watch, he'd be laying on his back going, oh, God, who ran me over?
I'll be hiding on the tape. How'd that ball get through there? Not me. Don't see me, coach.
That's it. I was locked up inside.
Trapillo against Karan Amagaje. How about this?
We're moving guys around. Yeah, we want to give everyone an opportunity. So, Darnell, we feel pretty comfortable keeping him at the right side right now. So the left side until we get Braxton back in the mix, it's going to be a little bit of musical chairs.
Yeah, it's newsworthy. That's newsworthy.
Yeah, no question about it. Now, can we just move on past the Seth Wickersham nonsense and let's go?
So Caleb Gate is over? Is it officially over?
It's over. It was over for me when the story hit. It was a non-story. But he addressed it. People are happy. God bless.
Nope.
Let's go.
Not a non-story. No, stop. No, audience. No. Not a non-story. Not a non-story. You have to tell the entire story of the process of him getting to the Chicago Bears. That is not a non-story, Cap. It is not.
Why do you have to tell the story? He's already here. He's already the quarterback.
He spoke. He's the one who chose to do
I'm
the
not
book.
talking about, yes. He didn't choose to do any. It's not a book about him.
What do you mean? He gave quotes.
A year and a half ago.
So what? He voluntarily offered up quotes in the book.
That's fine.
How on earth is it a non-story? How on earth does he not have to address it?
No, it is.
That's
We'll
the
agree
part
to
I don't
disagree.
understand.
We'll agree to disagree.
The reason-
I thought it was the biggest non-story I have seen come down the road in a long time.
If it involves quarterback one, it's always a story.
That's a different thing. He could
What do
go.
you mean?
He could go get a speeding ticket and it becomes a story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed. But the fact that he had to address that the pre-draft process he went through this, that became this firestorm that he's got to address. That's garbage.
But he volunteered whether it was him or his father or both, they volunteered the information to
A
Seth
year
Wickersham.
and a half ago.
So what?
Okay, we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I thought, and I think most fans thought, biggest non-story out there.
Damn.
He addressed it. God bless him.
I can't speak for most fans. I can speak for Jonathan Hood. And Jonathan Hood says that if it involves the quarterback of the Chicago Bears, it's always going to be a story. And I'm glad he got ahead of it. The story's there. He was able to speak on. Now imagine if he just hit from it. If he cut and run from it, that would suck.
What happens when the book drops in September? And something else is in the book we haven't known. We got to address that too? Because he said it. We got to address it. Such a bunch of garbage.
I don't think it's listen. I think it's letting him off the hook a little bit. If it's like, hey, you did this book, you did speak to him, you offered up the quotes, you volunteered this information. No, it's all good. You don't have to talk about it.
Jackass. He's already here.
I understand that. And I don't think it changes anything about him being here or being the quarterback or wanting to be a Chicago Bear. But to say he never had to speak about it, that's a little insane. He was perfectly happy to talk about it a year and a half ago. He should have to address it now.
I'm glad you did.
Who's saying he has to? The media. That's who's saying it. That's who's saying it. Fans didn't care.
No one dropped an anchor on his ass and made him go up there and talk. He did it because he had to. He did it because he wanted to get ahead of the story. I'm glad he did.
Yeah, that's fine.
Imagine if he didn't say anything about this and then there'd be questions over and over and over again. And now that it's done, now we can move forward. But the quarterback had to speak on it because the head coach had to speak on it. So why wouldn't the quarterback?
Yeah,
Come on now.
And he did. I didn't learn anything yesterday. Nothing. I learned more from Ben Johnson about body language and this and that. Great. Caleb's 4.5 minute thing, there was nothing earth-shattering said there. He did it. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
God bless
So
him.
it checks a box.
Damn.
Great.
It checks a box. I'm glad he said something versus not saying anything at all, because now it's not a story. You're right. Is it a story now? No. You know why it's not a story? Because he said something about it and cleaned it up, and that was it.
That's my question then. In September, when the book
No.
hits the street, does he have to answer those questions again too? There'll be people that say,
No.
media people. Well, wait a minute now. We didn't know that. That's in the book. I want to ask. No.
No, but
Well, you said it.
he did as much yesterday. He said, I don't want this to be a distraction when the book comes out and we're playing Minnesota. I want it to be about the football, so I'm going to do it now.
God
Done.
bless him.
And he should have done that, and it's good that he did. That's all.
God bless.
Yeah, we got
If it made people happy,
Yeah.
I'm glad he did it.
Yeah, I mean, it was addressed like anything else that happens in sports. There's a book, you're in that book, you're involved, you have to say something about it. Otherwise, people will cast aspersions on you, thinking that you just didn't want to be with the Chicago Bears. He said he wanted to be a Bear. Talked about the process. That's a good thing.
God bless.
That's a good thing.
I'm just glad it's over.
The contract and the ink dried on the contract doesn't speak anything to the book, Cap. It has nothing to do with the book. Yeah, he's a Chicago Bear. You and I both know that, and Bears fans know that. But when there's stories like that, you must address it, and then you move on. And I'm glad that he did. Imagine if he just said, I just want to talk about football. Okay, so does this guy really want to be here? all that. Now we're talking about this on a regular basis, you and I. That sucks, especially when we're in the season with a new regime. So he spoke on it, and I'm glad he did. But the idea that he was supposed to just turn a blind eye to it, no, your name is on it. Your dad's name on it. Your reputation's on that. Damn. You say something about it. When someone says something about you, you know what we don't do? We don't ignore it.
Damn.
We address it. Do we not? Sylvie? We address it.
What do you mean, Sylvie?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? What do you mean? What do I mean by Sylvie?
I don't know what you mean.
I'm talking about when he was talking about you and the Cubs. Talking about, you're not supposed to go after the fans.
Oh, you mean 2 weeks ago before you left? Yeah.
Did you not address it?
That was more fun.
But you addressed it though.
Because it was fun. I'm having a good time. He and I are in a good place. I'm having a good time with it. But do I address every comment? No, I don't. I don't live in that world. I've moved way past that. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about anything. If you can go back and look through my Twitter timeline, I don't go at people like I did 10 years ago. I don't have time for it. You want to write something about, God bless you. Have at it. I don't care.
What about the aggregation? You're good with that? The false aggregation.
Yeah. Exactly.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. Yeah, but no, in terms of, like, the whole, somebody said something, I got to address, no, I don't.
But it's not somebody said something. In this situation, you said something. Like, imagine if an article came out, and I'm not saying any of this is true, I'm just painting a picture. But if an article came out and it was like, I spoke to David Kaplan in 2020 and he told me he never wanted to host with Jonathan Hood. Here are his quotes saying he didn't want to do it. We would have to talk about that if it came out today. Would we not?
You don't have to talk to me about it. That's how you feel. It's okay.
I mean, it would be a great radio bit, but he knows how the whole process started,
Right.
so I really don't feel like I would have to address it.
We all know we're in a good place. The show's successful. We have fun every day hanging out. But if that were to come out, we would have to at least address it. At the time, this was the thing, but here we are now.
But we would address it having fun with it because he was there with me the day the call was made. Let's do this.
Yep.
He knows how the whole process went down.
Yep.
That's the same thing as Caleb.
The books say you wanted Pat the designer before Jonathan Hood.
That true, Cap? Did you want Pat the designer?
I did.
Did you? Okay. So, all right. Well, then I'll go home and watch
when
Gunsmoke.
Pat said no. I went to Goff.
I don't know why. Man.
And then when Goff said no.
So what you're saying is you wanted Pat the designer over me? 312-332-ESP is our telephone number. Kap and Pat the designer, weekday morning, 7 to 10.